bare and bleak, with its lighthouse standing erect like a gray sentinel. At this side of the promontory, the great trees failed, leaving only a few standing away from the storm winds of the Antarctic, with bleached, gnarled branches. Beyond lay a few logs, and these led to a long green slope down to the sea. Camp of a dozen or so of tents we located in a grove of widely separated eucalyptus trees, gum trees they are called in Australia. They reminded me of the pohutukawa trees of New Zealand. There were sunny glades and plenty of shade, and foliage for the wind to sigh or mourn or roar through, according to the mood of the wind. The fragrance of these trees I had long known, because I have eucalyptus on my place in California. Some lovely, lofty, silver-barked trees, and others low and dense, bearing the scarlet flowers. But here the fragrance was penetrating and thick, like that of a fir forest in Oregon, only stronger. It pasted your nostrils shut. Birds new to me sang in these trees, and they were unnameable to me for a while, except the gulls that come right into camp, up into the woods. This was unprecedented and very intriguing. Seabirds, fish-eaters, visiting me in camp. It was a good augury. Maybe they thought I would bring lots of fish meat for them to eat. And the kookaburra, the laughing jackass. What shall I say of this laughing devil of a friendly, ludicrous bird? They came early and late. They sat and watched me, turning their heads as if to express their interest, if not resentment. Now, who is this fellow, anyhow? We'll have to see about him. They were quite large, rather bulky forward, with dull white breasts and gray backs and markings, with big heads and wicked long bills. All about them comic and friendly, except that terrible laugh. It awakened me at dawn, and I heard it after I went to bed. I knew I would love them, despite the fear that maybe they were giving me the laugh, and pealing out with ha, ha, ha in several raucous tones at my temerity and audacity in coming 9,000 miles to catch some fish. That laugh discouraged me a little, but as far as the fish were concerned, I had only to look out over that dark blue ocean, the Tasman Sea, notorious for its currents and storms, its schools of whales and fish, to know that I would find new and boundless sport. Chapter 2. The element of familiarity in all this newness and strangeness of Australia was supplied by the presence of my boatman, Peter Williams, of New Zealand, and my launch, the Avalon. She had been constructed from my design by Collings in Auckland, and is comfortable, fast, and seaworthy. With a long, hard fishing trip planned, it is imperative that these features be present. Peter used to be a whaler, and that is why he is so efficient with ropes and moorings and boats. He is the brawniest and best man with a gaff who has ever stood beside me. Since 1927, when I first visited New Zealand, he has fished with me in many waters besides his own: California, Mexican coast, Galapagos, Tahiti, South Sea Islands, and now we're in Australia. It is needless to say that we look for an outstanding and wonderful experience. From talking with the native fishermen and market fishermen at Bermagui, I learned considerable from which I could make deductions. There were a number of conflicting opinions, as well as some general statements in which all concurred. One was that I could hardly be expected to catch a swordfish before February, and this was mid-January. The old familiar wind and rough seas marked the first few days at Bermagui. But we could not have gone out in any event, as it is a big job to pitch a camp of a dozen tents, all on board floors, and to build a serviceable kitchen and dining room. The way we camp puts us in conflict with the elements, if not wholly at their mercy. But that is what I love about living in the open. Rain, shine, wind, calm, gale, and torrential downpour. We have already had them all. On January 11th, we started out for our first run, really a scouting trip. For me, it was difficult and poignant to take the initial step.